Hi there. So today we will be doing a class for your hips and also for your low back. For today's class, you will need a couple of myofascial release balls. If you don't have these, then you can also use tennis balls, but make sure they're not too hard. And if you possibly can, I definitely recommend the myofascial release balls because they have a really nice consistency, and also because they're rubber, they don't slip quite as much. And then if you have it, a yoga block. If you don't worry, it's just for one part of the class, so you can also do this without the yoga block. So we're actually going to start with the myofascial release first, and we're going to start with our hip flexors. So you want to find the bony parts. I'm just going to pop these down for now. So you want to think about the bony parts of your hip, so your ASIS, so your hip points right at the front. So just locate them, just bring your fingers, locate them, and then just move slightly inwards here, and this is where you want to place the ball. So just slightly inwards from your hip points. And we're going to come and lie on our tummy. So come and lie on your tummy, just lift the hips, grab those balls, and just place them there. And you might feel straight away that there's a bit of sensation here. So you can either just lie with your hands one on top of the other, head on the hands, or you can come up onto the elbows. And what I want you to do here is just focus on taking some nice deep breaths. So as you inhale, try to think about that belly breath, breathing into your belly, allowing the belly to expand, the pelvis to expand into the balls. And as you exhale, just try to think about everything softening and releasing. And you might find that you're feeling a bit of resistance here, possibly tight hip flexors. So just stay with it. Just keep the breath really slow and steady. So inhale, expand the breath into the pelvis, into the belly, into the low back. And as you exhale, just let everything soften and release. And just keep the breath like this. As I said, you can have your head down, you can try coming up onto your elbows. And if this feels enough for you, just stay here, or you can just do some tiny little cat-cow movements with the pelvis. So just tucking under and releasing. And you'll find probably as you tuck under, you might feel there's maybe more load onto the balls, maybe it's less load, maybe the pelvis lifts slightly. Just keep that breath steady and try and keep the legs, the glutes, the pelvis as relaxed as you possibly can. If this is enough, once again, please stay here. If you'd like a little bit more, you would have to come up onto the elbows for this, tucking your toes, lifting your knees, and you can just do a kind of gentle rock up and down. And you might find a spot that you hit that you're like, okay, I'm going to take another couple of breaths here. So again, you can just untuck the toes, just relax down, or you can keep the toes tucked if you like. But again, you really want to keep those legs nice and relaxed. And you can take that little rock up and down again. Slow, deep breaths. You might hit another spot where you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to stay here for a couple of breaths. And again, just release down. You might also take this tiny little, just gentle rock side to side. Again, keep breathing into the belly, into the pelvis, into the low back. Let's just take another few breaths here. So this is just a quick version. If you want to, you can also do this for longer if you're getting some good sensations. And then from here, all we're going to do is just release the balls. Just take a moment, just lie onto your tummy, just rest the head on the arms or the hands. Maybe just move the hips slightly side to side, just see how that feels. And then let's make our way onto our backs, where we're going to do the glutes and also the QL. So I'm going to explain first before you get onto your back. So for the glutes, the balls want to be just in the center of the glute, and then you can work all around this as well, but just bring them into the center of the glute, so right in the middle. And then for the QL, your QL, so you have the top of your hip, and then you have the bottom of your rib. And then there's that little fleshy dimple just in the middle of these two. It's just off those two thick bands of muscle on either side of the spine. This is where the ball wants to go. So not right on those thick bands of muscle, just off in that little dimple between the top of the hip bone and the bottom rib. So we're going to do our glutes first and then our QL. So now come and lie onto your back. Make sure also your block is handy, because we're going to actually move on to some block work after this as well. Just going to tuck my mic in again. And then press into the feet, just bring the feet onto the mat, press into the feet, lift the hips, bring the balls into that place I showed you, so just right in the center of the glute, and then lower the hips back down. And once again, this might be enough sensation for you. You might be like, whoa, that's a lot. You can also move the balls slightly to the side, slightly up or down if it's too much. And exactly the same thing as we did with the hip flexors, just focus on trying to relax as much as possible. Nice, slow belly breaths. Allow the glutes to be heavy over those myofascial release balls. So for a lot of people, this does bring up a pretty decent amount of sensation. If you'd like to try something else, walk the feet as wide as the mat, and then let the knees drop in together, so you're in that constructive rest pose. That is like pretty intense for me. Oh, so now your hips are in internal rotation. And again, some deep breaths. You might not find this that intense. You might find it quite intense. And again, just try as much as you can. You don't want too much pain here. You might get quite a bit of decent sensation, but if you're actually in pain where you're tensing your body or you're clenching, then you need to move the balls, or maybe even place a blanket over the balls or something, because the last thing you want is the body to be tense when you're working on the tissue. And again, this might be enough, or you just open your knees, perhaps you just drop the knees side to side, so you're doing that windshield wiper motion with the legs. You can also bring the feet about hip distance apart, take your figure 4 stretch, so crossing right ankle over left thigh, and then just let the legs drop towards the right. Sometimes a tiny little rocking movement might feel good. It might feel that that's enough or maybe too intense. So now obviously that right hip is now in external rotation. You can always adjust the position of the balls as much as you need here as well. And then you can bring your legs back through center, bring your right foot down, and also cross left ankle over right. Remember, you don't have to do any of this. If the initial positions were enough for you today, drop the legs to the left. You can either just be still and breathe, or just do this tiny, very gentle rocking movement. With myofascial release, you don't want any of the movements to be too vigorous. And again, just bring the legs back through center, uncross, press into the feet, pick up the hips, move the balls. Again, if that was bringing up some sensation, please do feel free just to continue. Next is the QL, so you're staying on your back. Now those balls go just at those little dimples, those little recesses at either side of those thick, meaty bands of muscle. And then we're going to come and lie down again. So you might need to lift the hips slightly. The balls might be slightly sticking out here from your side waist. So you might want to keep your hands handy just in case you need to pop them back in. And again, for some people, this might be enough. You can just focus on that nice big belly breath as you inhale, as you exhale, just release. Try to keep the shoulders, the neck relaxed as well here. Breath super steady, nice and easy. If you notice the breath is quickening or you're holding your breath, it might be too much sensation as well. And again, just like in our glutes, you can do the same here. You can cross your right ankle over your left thigh, open the knee out to the side, and then just drop the legs towards the right. And now you're loading onto that ball with that right hand side QL. You can do those little gentle rocking movements or just be still and breathe. Take a few more breaths here, if you are in this position, of course. If you're not feeling anything, you can also bring the right knee kind of into this kind of half happy baby. So just bringing the knee towards the armpit, just taking hold of the back of the thigh, or you can take hold of the outside of the foot. That could be quite intense. And then we'll move on to the other side. If you are taking these variations, you can always pick the hips up, adjust the balls as much as you need. Left ankle would cross over right thigh. Legs would drop towards the left. So again, you're loading onto that ball. You'll probably find as you go through these, as in any other exercise, that one side is very different to the other. And again, this might be you, or you take that half happy baby variation, just grabbing hold of the back of the thigh, the back of the knee, bringing the knee just towards your armpit. And if you want more, taking hold of the outside of the foot. That almost caught my breath there. And this is probably one of the most intense variations you can take. So again, just be mindful. You don't want pain. You just want to start to open up that tissue around the muscle. And then from here, you can just release that foot. Pick up the hips. Just move the balls to the side. Bring your arms out to the side. You finish with them, so you don't need them anymore. Bring the feet as wide as the mat and just drop your knees side to side. So we're just bringing the hips into internal and external rotation. Just allow this to be pretty loose. And then we're going to add on to this. So next time the knees go to the right, turn your head to the left. And then next time the knees go to the left, turn your head to the right. Just continue like this for a couple of rounds. Just keep it nice and slow and easy. And then next time the knees go to the right and head turns to the left, pick up your left foot and just bring that knee across so the left knee hovers over the right, almost like you're going into a supine twist. And then send that left foot to the left edge of the mat. Bring your knees back through center, drop them to the left, pick up your right foot, bring that right knee across so it hovers over the left. Send the right foot back to the edge of the mat, back through center, over to the right. You can still turn your head as well if you like. Pick up the left foot, hover it over, send it back. Over to the left, pick up the right foot, bring it over, and then send it back. Just a couple more each side. Over to the right, bringing that left knee across. Legs over to the left, Bring the right knee across. One more each side. Over to the right. Left knee across. Send it back. Over to the left. And right knee across. And then come back. Just bring the knees into the chest. Take a little rock side to side. And then we're going to grab our block. If you don't have a block, again, you can just do this on the mat. So if you do have a block, we're coming into supported bridge, and you want your block to be on the lowest height, and it goes horizontally across the mat. So it's not vertical, horizontal. So always lowest height. Foam block is always best as well for this one. If you don't have a foam block and you've only got a wooden or a cork block, maybe grab a blanket or something just to pop over the top so it's not quite so intense. Bring the feet onto the mat, lift the hips, bring the block underneath the back of the pelvis. So it wants to go right underneath the sacrum. I'll just quickly show you. So you don't want it on the spine, you want it right underneath the back of the pelvis. So that little triangular bone at the base of the spine. So from here, just lower the hips down onto the block. Just make sure your block is in the right position. Again, you can keep your hands by the side of the block just to help. Then we're going to bring the knees in towards the chest. As you bring the knees in towards the chest, you want the top edge of the block, the top edge that's closest to your shoulder, just slightly digging into the top of the sacrum. So if you think about the top of the sacrum and where those two little dimples are on either side, basically where the bony part starts to meet the fleshy part, that's where you want the top of the block to be digging in. And then you just let the knees come in towards the chest and then let them move away. So you're giving yourself a bit of a self-massage here as well. So it's a different form of myofascial release self-massage. Very handy tools to have. And you can also rock side to side. Just massaging those two little dimples. And then start to think about your sacrum like a triangle. So if you think the top flat edge that's closest towards your shoulders, and then you've got your 2 points that go down towards the tailbone, towards the coccyx. You've got your long edge at the top, your corners, and then those 2 sides that go down to a point towards the tailbone. We're going to try and trace around that, doing a version of pelvic clock. So first of all, let your knees come in towards the chest. You're pressing that top flat edge onto the block, and then just tilt to the right, so you're pressing that right corner down. Trace down the right-hand side of that triangle to the point, and then we go up the left-hand side to the left corner, and we go back across the top. So it's right corner, down the right-hand side to the point, up the left-hand side to the left corner, and back across the top. One more like this, to the right, right corner, down the right-hand side, up the left-hand side, and then back across the top. And then 3 in the opposite direction. So left corner, down the left-hand side to the point, up the right-hand side to the right corner, and back across the top. 2 more like this. Just nice and slow and controlled. Last one. Just massaging all the area around the sacrum. Then from here, bring the knees in towards the chest. Maybe wiggle down slightly on the blocks so you're a little bit more supported. Let the left knee come in. Either grab the back of the thigh or the shin. Pull it in nice and tight. And then extend your right leg up towards the ceiling. You want to tuck the pelvis under, so pull up on the pubic bone, ribs draw in and down. Keep that left knee pulling in. Keep that posterior tilt of the pelvis, that tucking under. Reach through your right foot. Toes can be pointed or toes can be pulling back. It's up to you. And then very slowly start to lower the leg down. Imagine you've got a bit of resistance on your heel. So this is an eccentric lower. So you're really reaching through the leg. You're keeping it nice and controlled. And then from here, you want to stop when you feel your pelvis might want to tilt back or your ribs might want to flare. Sorry, so keep those ribs drawing in and down. Keep the pubic bone drawing up. When you feel you've reached that point, stop there and then squeeze your hip crease to lift the leg back up. So we'll do that again. Keep the leg nice and active. Slowly lower it down. Keep pulling that left knee in. Keep reaching through your leg, so keep the leg really active. Don't let the ribs flare, don't let the pelvis tilt back. And then stop, squeeze your hip crease, lift the leg. One more, slowly lower. This time we're going to hold it active. So reach through your foot, hold it active, keep pulling that left knee in. You might get a little bit shaky here, don't worry. Keep the ribs drawing in and down. For 3, 2, and then just relax that leg. Keep pulling the left knee in, and you should feel a bit of a stretch in the front of your right hip. The heel might touch the ground, it might not. Don't worry too much. Take a few deep breaths here. And then let's swap sides. So now right knee comes in, tuck the pelvis under, reach your left leg up towards the ceiling. Very slowly start to lower it down. Make sure again the leg is active, you're reaching through the foot. Stop at that point where again your pelvis might want to tilt back, your ribs might want to flare. Squeeze your left hip crease, lift the leg. And again, slowly lower down. Stop. Squeeze the hip crease. And lift the leg. One more time. Remember, don't make it too quick. Imagine you've got a bit of resistance on that heel. Slowly lower down. This time, we stop and hold it active. Keep pulling your right knee in. Reach through your foot. For 3, 2, and then once again, just let the leg relax and drop. It might hover, you might eventually find the floor. Just depends on how tight it is there. Take a few deep breaths. And then bring both knees in towards the chest, take a little rock. Bring the feet down onto the ground and press into the feet, pick up the hips just enough to slide the block away. Slowly bring the spine down. And then start to transition onto your hands and your knees. So we'll find a tabletop position. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Spread your fingers nice and wide, round your back up towards the ceiling. Drop your head, drop your tail. And then from here, send a wave up your spine, moving through to your cow pose, pulling the hands back towards the knees as you open the chest. And again, send that wave back up your spine, tail to head. And moving into your cow pose. Let's just do one more, but this time let's go head to tail, drop the head down, send the wave down your spine, cat. Send the wave back down your spine, moving into your cow. And then round up into your cat pose. And now send the hips back towards the heels, child's pose. Take a couple of breaths, reach the fingers forward, send the hips back. And then just come up, come to lie on your side. Either lie all the way down or just bring your elbow underneath your shoulder. We'll take some hip circles here. Try and keep your hips nice and level, so I always find it's easier to bring the top hand onto your top hip. Squeeze calf and back of thigh together. If you do have one of those myofascial release balls, you can also pop that in the back of your knee and squeeze it so you're keeping your leg nice and active. Pull the top of the foot towards the shin and then bring that top knee in towards the chest, lift the knee up towards the ceiling, find an internal rotation so that thigh bone twists down and under. So imagine you've got an arrow from the outer seam of your leggings going down and under this way. So the ankle, the heel lifts up. Kick the leg back into hip extension, squeeze your glute, and then just close off your circle, bring it back round. we'll just do a couple more like this. So knee into the chest, up to the ceiling. Internally rotate, twist down and under, kick back, hip extension. Close it off. One more, into the chest, up to the ceiling. Internal rotation, kick it back, and close it off. And then 3 in the opposite direction. So now we kick back, hip extension. We lift up. Now it's an external rotation, so that arrow goes from the inseam of your leggings to the outseam. So the hip rolls open. So think about that inner ankle heel kind of coming forward. Bring the knee towards your armpit, towards your shoulder, and then once again, just close off that circle. And again, we go back, squeeze your glute, we go up, external rotation, bring it round and back. One more, back, up, bring it round and back. And then just a few rounds of internal, external. So hover that top knee off the bottom, internal rotation, so heel lifts up, tap the knee, and then external rotation, tap the heel, knee lifts up. So it's knee and then heel. Again, try and keep the hips nice and level. So it's just that thigh bone twisting in the socket. Tap knee, internal rotation, tap heel, external rotation. Internal, external, couple more, internal, external, last one, internal, external. Okay, other side. So you can just turn around, flip yourself over, move on to the other side. And again, you always want to think about that top leg. The knee is bent. You're squeezing your ball or you're squeezing calf and back of thigh together. Elbow underneath your shoulder. If this is not comfortable for your shoulder, you can lie down. You can bring your head onto a block. Whatever feels more comfortable. Top hip, nice and level. Keep those hips level. 3 in each direction. So knee into the chest, up to the ceiling. Find that internal rotation, twist down and under. Outer ankle heel lifts. You might find one side is different than the other. Kick it back, hip extension. Close off your circle. 2 more. So it's into the chest, up to the ceiling. Internal rotation, kick it back, extension, and close it off. Last one, in, up, twist down, under, kick it back, and close off. 3 in the opposite direction, we kick back, extension, we go up. Now it's an external rotation. Just remember that arrow, inseam of leggings to the outseam. Bring the knee into the chest and back around. So it's back, extension, up, big twist open, bring it round and back. Last one. Nice and slow and controlled. And then hover that top leg off the bottom. And we do our internal, tap the knee, external, tap the heel. And again, you'll notice I'm not rolling back or forward. So my hip points are pointing forward. My hips are nice and level. I'm just working on that thigh bone twisting in the socket. And yes, you will probably feel a bit of a burn around your hips. Let's just do a couple more. Last 2. Last one. And relax. Okay, next thing, we're going to come onto our elbows. So back onto your hands and knees, and then bring your elbows down onto the mat. So elbows are roughly underneath your shoulders. Interlace your fingers, drop your head down. Pull your elbows apart, pull your shoulder blades apart. And we're going to do mini cat-cows of the pelvis. You're just going to tilt the pelvis up and back and then tuck it under. When you tilt it up and back, think more of the tailbone lengthening back as opposed to trying to stick it up, so you're compressing the low back. So send the tailbone back and then draw it under. Back and under. And again, you're trying to keep the upper body as still as you possibly can. And then find a neutral spine. We're going to take some hip hikes here. So for your hip hikes, you want to think about where that QL is again, that area that we worked with the ball earlier. And what you're going to do is you're going to try and contract that QL by squeezing one hip to your bottom rib. So squeezing your left hip to your bottom rib. And try and think about that QL contracting. So you're hiking your hip up and then release it back. And then right hip squeezes to right bottom rib and release back. So it's left hip, left bottom rib. And I'm just going to demonstrate roughly here. So basically you want to think about squeezing it. So it's not like a circle, it's not anything else. It's that squeeze and hike up, like you're hiking your hip up here. So it's that squeeze, so you're really contracting that area just around the low back. Do a couple more like this. So that hip hike going to one side and then to the other side. Hike your left hip up, hike your right hip up. And then we'll try and put this all together in some circles. So lengthen your tailbone back, left hip hike, squeeze left hip to left bottom rib, tuck it under, right hip hike, it's a tongue twister, and then send it back. Just do a couple more like this, so slow controlled circles through the pelvis. And then let's do the opposite direction, so lengthen the tailbone back, right hip to right bottom rib, tuck under, left hip to left bottom rib. And again, just another couple of slow controlled circles. Last one. Then from here, just lengthen the tailbone back, walk the elbows forward. Just take a little version of puppy pose, sink the chest towards the ground. Press into the elbows, come up onto the hands. And then we're going to take a lunge. So let's step our right foot forward. So you want this 90-90 lunge. So back knee is underneath your hip. Front ankle is underneath your knee. So you've got these rough 90-degree angles in your legs. Try and pull the foot and the knee together so the inner thighs are engaged. Once again, we want to draw up on the pubic bone. Squeeze your back glute. You can always pad your back knee because I want you to think about driving that down into the ground. We're going to twist towards our right leg and reach the left arm up till you feel a bit of a stretch into the side body. Start to reach your right fingers towards your back heel. Pull the ribs in and down, keep pulling up on the pubic bone, keep squeezing that back glute as you take a little lean back towards that foot. And you should feel this pretty good stretch, maybe in the side, in the front of the hip, maybe in the quad. Take a breath or two here, and then just return back, drop the arm. We'll do this 2 more times. So again, squeeze, draw together, reach your left arm up, pull up on the pubic bone, squeeze your back glute as you twist, and then take a little lean back and reach. Try and keep breathing, and then come back up. One more, squeeze together, twist, reach up, lean back, and then come back up. Let's swap sides. So right leg back, left leg forward. Again, set up in that 90-90 lunge. Pull heel and knee together, engage those inner thighs, squeeze your back glute, pull up in the pubic bone, ribs in and down. Reach your right arm up, feel that stretch, twist towards your left leg. Reach the left fingers back, and then take a little lean back. Keep squeezing your back glute, drive the knee down. And then come back up, reset. 2 more. Reach, twist, squeeze, pull up, ribs down, reach back, lean back. So many things. And then back up. 1 more. Make sure you're setting up. Pull heel and knee together, remember as well. Reach up, feel that stretch, twist. Lean back. And then come back up. Okay, just a couple more things to finish off and then we're done. A little bit of seated nerve flossing. So you're going to come into a seat with your legs extended. You can always bend your knees here a little bit as well. So what we want to do is kind of slacken and tighten the area around the nerve, all going through the back of the body. So it's like a cat-cow, but you're also pointing and flexing your toes. So from here, just bring your hands down somewhere that feels good for support. You can either bring them a little bit behind you for support or bring them to your side. So when we pull the toes towards us, it's like a cow pose. So we want to open up the chest. So we're kind of like slackening. No, that's wrong. See? I'm going to change that around, okay? So when we point the toes, then that's the cow pose. This is right. Having a bit of one of those days. So we point the toes, we open the chest, and then we pull the toes towards us and we round. Get that right, Sharon? And then again, point the toes, allow the ribs to open, so it's like that cow pose. And then here, we're kind of tightening the back body, and you'll feel a little bit of a stretch. It's like your cat pose, round the back, pull the toes towards you. And again, point, extend the spine, round, flexing the spine, pull the toes towards you. Point, extend, flex, pull the toes towards you. Couple more. And then just bring the hands back behind you. Bring the feet onto the mat. I'll just turn myself around. Bring the feet nice and wide, and then just drop the knees side to side. Just doing those windshield wipers with the legs again. Perhaps just seeing if they feel a little bit different than they did at the start of the sequence. And that is us done for today. So I hope you enjoyed that class. As always, just let me know any comments, any suggestions, anything that you'd like to do. And I will see you all very soon. Have a wonderful day.